Dear students, I am your History Civics teacher. We are going to study the chapter The Union Legislature or the Union Parliament. This chapter includes some of the topics like the Union Parliament, the Rajya Sabha, the Lok Sabha, the Speaker, parliamentary procedures. I will briefly explain the chapter including some of the topics and some of the terms. You are requested to watch and listen to this audio video clip carefully so that you can understand it properly. Let us begin with the introduction of this chapter. The Union Parliament. In modern times, a state manifests itself through a government. It is the government which translates the aspirations and ambitions of a state into reality. Under a monarchy, the king used to wield powers of authority. His command was the law. His actions were absolute and final, and his decisions were binding. But in modern democratic states, these functions are performed by district wings of the government, which are more or less independent in their irrespective spheres. The lawmaking wing is called the legislature, the governing wing is called the executive, and the wing that dispenses justice is called the judiciary. India, the largest democracy of the world, has the same setup. Federal setup. The Constitution of India has provided for a federal system of government. In a federal system of government, all the administrative powers are divided between the central and the state governments by the Constitution, and both are supreme within their respective spheres: executive, legislature, and judiciary. There are two types of federation. First, coming together federation, and second, holding together federation. Our constitution has federal features. The most important feature of the Constitution of India is the supremacy of the written constitution, which is partly rigid and partly flexible. The union as well as state governments derive their authority from the Constitution. They have well defined and exclusive powers in the spheres of executive, legislature, and judiciary. The Supreme Court is the final interpreter and guardian of the Constitution. Only the Supreme Court can settle disputes between the union government and state government or between the states themselves. The Parliament. The Parliament is the supreme legislative body of the country in India and England. It consists of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, and the President. Definition of Parliament. Parliament is the legislative organ of the government. It is a representative body whose permission is constitutionally required in the process of making or changing laws. It controls the Union Council of Ministers and the national budget. Indian Parliament consists of three constituents: the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, and the President. The Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha is the lower house. Members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people on the principle of universal adult franchise. Lok Sabha may be dissolved by the President before the expiry of its term on the advice of the Prime Minister. Lok Sabha is a more powerful house than the Rajya Sabha. It controls the exchequer of the country, controls the executive, and has a majority of members of the Parliament. The effective strength of the Lok Sabha at present is 545, out of which 530 members are directly elected by states, 13 members by union territories, and 2 members are nominated by the President from the Anglo-Indian community. The maximum strength of the Lok Sabha as provided by the Constitution is 552. Election of the Lok Sabha. Members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. The elections to the Lok Sabha are held by secret ballot, which means the voters can cast their votes secretly without any fear. They are also saved from the pulls and pressures of the politicians. Moreover, no ill feeling is created. Qualifications for the members of the Lok Sabha. He should be a citizen of India. He should be at least 25 years old. He should not be a proclaimed offender. He should have his name on the electoral rolls in any part of the country. He or she should possess such other qualifications as may be specified by Parliament from time to time. He should not hold any office of profit under the state or central government. He should not be of unsound mind. He should not be an insolvent, that is, he should not be in debt. Terms of the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha is normally elected for 5 years. It may be dissolved by the President before the expiry of its term on the advice of the Prime Minister. The Speaker. After the General Constitution, elections are over and the Lok Sabha is duly constituted with a notification by the Election Commission, the first task for the Lok Sabha to do is to elect its chairman and vice chairman, popularly known as the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, respectively. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha is elected soon after the newly elected Lok Sabha meets for the first time. The Speaker as well as the Deputy Speaker are elected by the Lok Sabha from among its members. Normally, the Speaker is elected for 5 years. The Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is the upper room, upper house. The upper house of the Parliament of India is popularly known as the Rajya Sabha. The maximum strength of the Rajya Sabha can be 250 members. The effective strength of the Rajya Sabha at present is 245, out of which 233 members are elected and 12 members are nominated by the President. The representatives of each state in the Council of States or Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the Legislative Assembly of the state. Qualifications of the members of the Rajya Sabha. He must be a citizen of India. He should be at least 30 years of age. He should not be a proclaimed offender. He should not hold any office of profit under the government. Like the member of the Lok Sabha, he or she should possess such other qualifications as may be specified by the Parliament from time to time. Presiding officer or chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Vice President of India is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. He acts as the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha. Privileges of the members of the Parliament. Freedom of speech. The members of the Parliament have the freedom to speak out their views within as well as out of the Parliament. They have also the right to get their views published in the press. Freedom of movement. The members of the Parliament have a special freedom of movement during the session of the Parliament. Parliamentary procedures. Parliamentary procedures are the formalities which the legislatures have to be observed in the course of their functions. Quorum. Quorum is the minimum number of members to be present in the House before it could transact any business. As per rule, 1/10 of the total membership of each House constitutes the quorum. The present strength of the Lok Sabha is 545, hence 55 members constitute the quorum. The present strength of Rajya Sabha is 245, hence 25 members constitute the quorum. Question R. Every member of the House has the privilege to ask questions from the government on matters of public interest. Such questions are addressed to the chair and if admitted, the government is obliged to answer them. First hour of every working day of the House is reserved for questions unless otherwise decided by the Speaker. There are 3 types of questions: unstayed questions, stayed questions, short notice questions. Motions. Wherever a matter of urgent public interest is sought to be discussed in the House, it is called a motion. Adjournment motion. Daily business of the House is programmed well in advance and is conducted accordingly. But if a question of immense public importance crops up, the members can demand adjournment of the discussion on slated business and discuss that matter immediately. No confidence motion. In a parliamentary setup, the Council of Ministers works till it enjoys the confidence of the legislature. If a successful motion of no confidence is passed in the Lok Sabha, the Council of Ministers has to resign. And if, on the other hand, the majority votes against the motion, the government survives. No confidence motions are very important because when a debate is held on the no confidence motion, members discuss the general policies of the government in detail and not the matter of a particular bill. In such a way, much light is shed on different problems and the attitude of different parties towards them. Relationships between the two houses of the parliament. Theoretically speaking, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha enjoy equal powers, but we cannot overlook the fact that the Lok Sabha represents the people and is elected by the people. On the other hand, the Rajya Sabha represents the states of the Indian Union and its members are elected indirectly by the members of the state legislative assemblies. They never have to go to the people. In such a situation, it is but natural that the Lok Sabha is given a clear upper hand in almost all matters concerning the parliament. This is all about the chapter, the Union Legislature. I have tried to explain this chapter in a very simple manner. I hope this audio video clip will benefit you in knowing more about the topic.